Sunshine. That's a silly nickname. I like it. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. Or read your text. Sorry. My name is Nova Ramos. I'm the healing track student that is supposed to be talking to you, I think. What's your name? Oh, great, perfect. You are who I'm supposed to be talking to. Do you mind being called Sunshine, by the way? I love giving people nicknames, but that one seems pretty fitting given your classification. Of course, I never want to overstep or anything. After all, we're literally meeting for the first time, and I mean, for all I know, that nickname is super significant and personal, and it's not something you want just anyone calling you, and... Really? You're positive you don't mind? Cool. Okay, sorry, I wasn't very clearly directed on what exactly to do with you or talk to you about, so I'm kind of winging everything. But it's fine. I'm very capable. I was chosen to talk to you for a reason, after all. This may be my third year at Hive, but I started practicing healing magic before I was actually allowed to enroll, so I have a knack for it, so to speak. I know. We should head to the library. Well, if I'm being honest, one of my friends is probably there studying, and she knows her shit a lot better than I do. She's actually a derivative, like you. Well, a water derivative rather than light. She's part of the dynamicism track, so you could always ask her some questions too. Take out two birds with one stone, all that jazz. How does that sound? Perfect. You can follow me. So, Sunshine, what attracted you to Hive? Do you have relatives that were alumni? Or maybe you're undercover, hiding as a student from some less than savory company? Ooh, or is it that you heard the rumors about the buildings being haunted after dark? I'm kidding. Well, except for the alumni explanation, that one's pretty plausible. I know that everyone has their own reasons for getting a higher vivified education, but it's a little different than what stagnants do. It's not like you're fucked if you don't go through a system like this. If anything, it's like... more or less an added bonus? Sorry, I'm probably not making much sense. There's still some things that are lost in me since I wasn't informed about Vivified Society until I was like 10. And I mean, my mom is stagnant, so I kind of grew up with that perspective too, but it's kind of hard to apply that logic in a setting like this, because like, she doesn't know what it's really like to have abilities, but... Sorry, I'm going on a tangent. I say all of that to say that I know everyone here has their own unique circumstances. So what are yours? If you're okay with sharing, I mean. Oh, so you're new to Notarum, I'm assuming? I mean, you can only be so new since the semester's been going on for a few months, but relatively speaking, I mean. No, I was born and raised in the city, for better or for worse. If anything, though, that means I can always show you some fun places to visit out and about. Just if you're interested, that is. No problem. I was supposed to be... Oh, right, healing track, duh. If I remember correctly, they said you haven't yet taken a healing class. Was there a specific reason why you were interested in this track over others? Well, I am the perfect person to help you learn all about the opportunities the healing track can offer. Do you think it would help if I explained what each track encompasses? Cool. Oh, one sec through this door. Okay, so at High, there are 7 tracks. Other institutes have their own specifications, but here the tracks are interdisciplinary, healing, divination, diversion, oh, archival, dynamicism, and positional. For the most part, your track indicates what sort of schedule you're looking to partake in. A large percentage of the student body here is interdisciplinary as it offers the most flexibility and the least restrictions. Yeah, so, in stagnant institutes, a track is more or less like one school of magic, if you can even call it that. You're not restricted to only that track, but as certain classes get more advanced, you may see some specific classifications taking them. So, for example, the divination track is open to divinators and non-divinators alike, but some of the classes are split since divinators have their own specific forms of magic that only they are capable of. After a certain point, it's specific to certain types. Saying all that to say that when it comes to the interdisciplinary track, it's really rare to see any of those sort of specificity. It's a track perfect for those who only want to take a smaller number of classes or for those who want to dip their toes into everything, so to speak. Of course. What do you want to know? Okay, so I feel like it's worth clarifying. Healer is not a vivified classification like a vampire or derivative. If anything, healer is more so a job description or title. I happen to be a necromancer, an incredibly rare ultra collector's item. There aren't any tracks in any school for necromancy, nor are there any specialty schools for it. But that works out fine because healing comes very easily to me. Except when it comes to scars, I'm still so bad at scarlet healing. At this rate, I might try learning how to customize the scars instead so at least I can make them look cool. But yeah, you're looking at one of a handful of necromancers in the city, which doesn't have anything to do with the tracks. Fuck. Sorry, I promise. I'm doing my best to stay focused. Okay, so interdisciplinary, yes. Okay, so that's the track you're currently under, as mentioned. It's good for getting a base level mastery of various types of magic. You've got a wide range, everything from healing to illusions to telekinesis. There's even classes dedicated to everyday magic such as cleaning and cooking. Then you've got your healing, which is the best track in my definitely unbiased opinion. It's actually the only track you can pair with another if you wanted, but that's not required by any means. A lot of people will take a healing class or two since healing magic can come in handy during emergencies. In my case, I'm hoping to make healing a full-time job once I finish here. Divination is a bit different since there are divinators and also divination as a subset of magic. It's sort of like... how do I word this? Divinators experience visions and see the future naturally. It's an innate part of their field. Whereas a non-divinator practicing divination is practicing a parallel version of the same magic. I thought about trying a class, but after the dumpster fire that was my intro to ward maintenance class, I steered clear of non-healing classes as much as possible. Oh, so Intro to Ward Maintenance, that's a class that falls under the Diversion track. It's basically considered a wards and illusions track. The name comes from the idea that you learn how to, quote-unquote, divert magic away from stagnants. Though I have heard that tailors sometimes choose that track since they already have skills in changing form. It can make illusion creation easier. Arguably, though, there's been a surge of tailors also choosing the dynamicism track. That's the one that my friend Jay's under. Dynamics are the most common vivified classification, so the track is for overall increased magical control. The track is pretty diverse. I definitely think it'd be better to ask a student from the track about it if you wanted more specifics and such. And then there's Archival. It's basically the history track, observing the past, restoring lost records and such, all that jazz. So yeah, that's the overview of... Oh, right, Positional. Yeah, that's a specialty track. You take classes part-time while interning with or working for FACE, the Foundational Agency of Confidentiality Efforts. No one really calls them the whole thing, though. But trust me, you're better off doing any other track. They're kind of wet blankets. The department and most of the students under the track. Now, I will say I think healing magic is vital and extremely significant. However, the healing track, assuming you plan to go more in depth, can get very overwhelming. Most people think it'll stay bruises and paper cuts forever, but you really need to have the stomach for the more advanced classes. Vivified people can be even more reckless than stagnants, and that's saying something. How are you with the sight of blood? It's not a trick question, I promise. I'm just trying to make sure you wouldn't faint or anything. We had this one guy... Oh, here we go. Anyways, we had this one guy who showed up for the first day of a healing class that passed out as soon as we started. Like, come on, it's a healing class. Blood was inevitable. Also, welcome to the library. Not sure if you've actually been in here before. Yeah, I don't blame you. It's pretty boring here with everyone so touchy about the whole being quiet thing. I mean, seriously, it's like every other minute someone's coming over and being like, some of us are trying to study. Like, yeah, so am I. Stop trying to weaponize passive aggression like that. There's Jay. Come on, I'll introduce you.
Atmokinesis seems like the most logical
Jay.
next step for me, but that's assuming I can actually pass the benchmarks for my electric derivative development this semester.
Jay.
Hi, Nova. Oh, you have company?
Yeah, I texted you. Did you not see?
My phone was on Do Not Disturb, sorry. And there are the 14 messages from you. Were the emoticons really necessary?
They're always necessary, Jay, but that's not what I'm here to discuss. This is Sunshine, the light derivative I'm explaining my track to.
Nova, you cannot give people nicknames minutes after meeting them.
I didn't. Sunshine is a nickname someone else uses for them already. And I asked before I started calling them that, so it's fair game.
Fair enough. Well then, it's nice to meet you, Sunshine. My name is Jesselyn Alonzo. Jay is a nickname graciously provided by the very talkative Necromancer beside you, but I'm not opposed to others.
Scoot your stuff out the way.
So Sunshine, is this your first year at Hive? There's no such thing as late, don't worry about that. You're here now, and that's what's important. Besides, the concept of going into something like this as soon as you become 18 is a ridiculous sentiment stagnant society has pushed for far too long. If anything, waiting gives you more opportunities to learn what you actually want, which I'm assuming Nova is attempting to help with.
Hey, I'm being helpful. I only got distracted like three times, maybe.
How far down a track do you plan on completing? Well, what kind of magic are you interested in? Nova, did you explain?
Yes, I already explained all the tracks to them, Jay. I assumed you would have a bit more insight, though, seeing as you tend to know the nitty-gritty and whatnot.
Did any of them sound particularly appealing? Your advisor will be able to go more in depth, but Nova is right. I am fairly informed about the tracks and the general practices of Hive. That's not a bad track at all. Under diversion, you'd be dealing with magic that's almost entirely separate from your classification, but given the fact that you're a light derivative rather than, say, fire or air, it might actually work in your favor. Plenty of stagnant illusions involve the trick of the light, so you could be more than suited for that kind of work. Sunshine, I'd like to offer a piece of advice from someone who's only been informed about Vivified Society for a couple of years now. You don't need to second-guess yourself. You're here because you're skilled, and no matter what some of the assholes here may try to convince you, you're meant to take up space. So do it. Don't let them think for a second that they can scare you off.
Damn, Jay, you didn't have to get so serious.
I was not getting serious. That was me being sincere.
Hey, it's okay to admit that maybe you're just an intense gal. I still love you regardless.
Whatever.
Ooh, is that a message from your Cupid?
They are not my Cupid. They're a close acquaintance. Nothing more.
Tomato, tomato. Can I borrow a piece of paper? Pretty please, my most amazing, sweet, adoring...
There's no need for all of that here.
This is my number in case you have any other questions. Jay, can I put yours down?
Sure, that's fine.
And this one's Jay's. She's less likely to reply, but if you need anything from me, just reach out, okay? Doesn't have to be class-related. Lord knows I rarely text about that sort of stuff anyways. And if you want to talk to other track students, I can let you know. Seriously, one of my friends became a TA recently and...
Nova, let them leave. Have a nice day, Sunshine.
Do you think I actually did a good job?
Yes, Nova. Don't stress over it. I'm sure you did great.